Once again, I welcome back to the channel Education Hub. Dear students, till now we have covered so many topics in your class 12 physics. Within that one, the first topic we have covered for the history or the background of the electrostatics of the electricity. And the second topic we just gone through regarding the charge and the properties of charge. And next topic we have covered about the different properties and also with the electric field intensity. In addition to this, we covered about the electric dipole and uses of the electric dipole for the finding the electric field intensity in the different points. As of far, the topics which are covered, they are interrelated to each other, and that's why I request you to kindly see the previous videos which still now covered and correlate with these videos which are continuing now. And today we'll cover the electric dipole in an electric field. Actually, when the topic will come the electric field, what is electric field? When a charge is present at any point around which a space or the proper space around which will be get modified. This modified space is called the electric field. But I already said you the electric field intensity can also be termed as the electric field. But the main two concept is that here the electric field intensity or the electric field both are some different terms. The electric field means the space around which a charge, but the electric field intensity identifies that the strength of the electric field. But we are conveniently you are using electric field. Okay, let's get started. What is the electric dipole in an electric field? For finding the electric dipole in electric field, we have to take the two considerations. First consideration is about the uniform electric field, and second consideration for the non-uniform electric field. First of all, we discuss about the uniform electric field. Thus, you know about in our class 9th to 11th, the uniform means the every place in the every place will be the equal amount of or the strength of the electric field is same. If I take this is a completely one space or one surface where electric field is there, completely uniform electric field is there. And within this one, I will take the one dipole. This dipole, I will point name this one as the A and B. Here A, let's take plus Q. In point B, we'll take the minus Q. These two are separated by distance of 2A. They are separated by distance 2A. Now see, as here the charge is, it is a uniform electric field. That's why at any point if you check the strength of the electric field, everywhere that you will get the E only. Means if it is the 10, everywhere you will get the 10 only. If it is the 15, everywhere you will get the 15 only. Means it is uniform electric field. And this will make a angle theta with the field. This dipole will make a angle theta with the field. Now what will take, as you know that this is a dipole where the net force, as both are the equal and opposite charges, the net resultant force we can say be 0. But one thing, as it is a line, in the line was there is no force is acting. That's why a coupled force will be act within the dipole, and this coupled force will act on the two opposite points or at the 2 points A and B. Here the force will be plus QE. Here the force will be minus QE. These two forces will, this coupled force is called the torque. This torque tau is equal to either of the force, magnitude of either of the force, into distance or separation distance between the, or in simply we can say the perpendicular distance between the 2 points. Perpendicular distance between the 2 points. Here the perpendicular distance, it is inclined with the angle theta. That's why what I will do, simply I will find the perpendicular distance. For finding the perpendicular distance, just I will take a point O here. This is a perpendicular distance. As we know, this AB and this is BO. As this is the angle theta, that's why we can say this BO, the magnitude of either force is the QE into perpendicular distance is the OB. This OB, is equal to QE into OB. Then as this is a theta, this will be the corresponding angle, and hence this OB is the sine component of AB. That means what? This will be QE into AB sine theta. That means QE into AB is the 2A sine theta. This will be Q into 2A into E sine theta. This will be PE sine theta. Then this can be represented as the tau equal to PE sine theta. That means what? This coupled force tau equal to PE sine theta, and in vectorial form I can represent this equal to tau vector equal to P vector cross E vector. This is the in vector form. From this one, what we conclude? If a dipole is present in a uniform electric field, there will be a coupled force will exist. This coupled force will act on the two ends of the dipole, and this will start rotate. Due to which the magnitude of this is tau equal to PE sine theta, and the vector form, if you represent in vector form, tau vector equal to P vector cross E vector. Now we'll discuss for the electric dipole when it is in the non-uniform electric field. As we know, what about the dipole in the uniform electric field? Now we'll discuss about for the non-uniform electric field. See, let's take this is a coordinate axis in which a dipole is situated. This is a dipole AB. This is a plus Q and this is the minus Q. That if it is a non-uniform electric field, it implies clearly the electric field, the strength of the electric field is not same in every position. Means in that case, we know as it is no effect on the dipole, there is nothing will be impact on the dipole, and just we are interacting with only the ends of the dipole. But in this case, what happens? At every point, the force may differ. That's why we have to find the force at every point in all the coordinate axes, and we will find the electric force or the force applied by the non-uniform field. In such way, you have to find the electric field in non-uniform field. It is a very easy one. You can do it by just taking your reading your textbook, and you can write also. Okay. Now I will jump to the next topic for you. That is the potential energy due to the dipole in an electric field. Now see, potential energy of a dipole, of electric dipole in an electric field. See that you may don't have the enough idea about them what the potential energy, but you know about what the electric potential in lower standard classes, as in the class 10th. That you may say what is the electric potential? It is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from one position to the other position or to the desired position. Here, what is the amount of work done per unit charge? In the same way, but here we are not dealing with the charge. Here we are dealing with the electric dipole. Here we are finding the potential energy for the electric dipole in an electric field, and it is also a uniform electric field. Now I will take a uniform electric field. Within that one I will place a one electric dipole, and from that I will find the electric potential energy. Just take this is a uniform electric field, and this line represents the uniformity of electric field. I will place the electric dipole here. This is the plus Q and this is the minus Q at A and B. Now what I will do, I am just defining this potential energy of the dipole in an electrostatic field is defined as the amount of work done in rotating the dipole from zero energy position to the desired position in the field. That means what? What is this potential energy? Here the dipole. This is in an electrostatic field or in electric field. The amount of work done in rotating means just it is not a charge. It will move. It is as it is a dipole. We have to rotate this one. How? From in which way we are rotating? From zero energy position to the desired energy position in the field only. Now just to find the zero energy position, I am assuming a statement here. I am taking a line which is the perpendicular to the electric field. For that I will take this in such way. Let's take this is the y naught, sorry, y prime. This is a line which is implies the zero energy position. Let's take at any time the electric dipole at an angle theta with the electric field or uniform electric field, and now the amount of torque applied tau equal to Pe sin theta, as we know. But one thing, let's take it was rotated for a smaller angle, then the amount of work done W equal to tau d theta. This d theta is the small change in the angle. Due to the small change in the angle, there will be some amount of work has been done. This total amount of work done, this small amount of work done can be known by the tau d theta, and total amount of work done we can find by the integrating this value. As we are taking this is a continuous charge distribution, that's why just we are taking integration of dw of w will give the tau d theta, and here we are taking the value will be 0 to w. In the same way I am taking the value, this is 90 to theta, and then what will happen, this will be w equal to tau means Pe sin theta d theta is 90 to theta. This will be Pe will be come out of the integration, and the integration sin theta is minus cos theta, and the value will be in such way, and this will be Pe minus cos theta minus cos 90. As we know, this cos 90 is 0, that's why this will be minus Pe cos theta. The total amount of work done W is equal to minus Pe cos theta. And if you take the some special cases, that is if theta is 0 degree, that means what? When it is parallel to the electric field, then we can find the what is the total amount of work done. As cos 0, this will be 1, then this will be minus Pe. If we will take the theta is 90 degree, that means what? It is perpendicular to the electric field, then this will be 0, means 0 amount of work done has been done. And if we will take that this will be 180 degree, it's the opposite of the electric field, then what will happen? This will be maximum amount of work will be done. Now we will discuss for the other topic. Just you can, if you want to take the note of this one, you can take the note of this. So what is vectorial representation of area? Now see, in the electric flux, before we are going to discuss about the electric flux, first we have to understand what is the flux. And before going to the flux, we have to understand or assume some topics which are already assumed or the assumptions were taken in the physics. Let's take this is a one volume. In this volume, there is so many surfaces are there. This is one surface. This is one surface. The basic thing in this, if this surface, if you're taking, I'm taking, this is a surface. Generally, this surface in the physics normally taken as a length, and the magnitude of this surface will be taken as the length, and the direction of this can be known by the two phenomena. First is that whether it is closed, second is whether it is open. If it is closed, then outward normal to the surface will give the direction. If this is open, then we have to apply the right hand screw rule. If the direction of the screw will give the surface, and the direction of motion of this screw will give the direction of the direction of the surface. Means whether it is a surface, this surface is taken as a length, and the direction of this length or the surface will be taken in the outward normal drawn on the surface. For the closed surface and the open surface, this will be used the right hand screw rule. Now we'll understand, or now we'll assume some more topics. First is what is the angle. First, what is angle? We know since now about the plane angle. Generally, the two-dimensional angle we can say. We have taken, if the two lengths are there, how much it is inclined, that we are taking as an angle. But this is up to the two-dimensional level. Now, the main topic for today's topic is the solid angle. What is this solid angle? This solid angle generally taken as for the three-dimensional figure. If we will take the one surface, I will take is the S. I will take a point here, O point, which is near to the surface. If I join all the boundaries to this point, now a cone-like structure will be formed. This cone-like structure, if we will take this opening, in this cone-like structure, I will take this opening. This opening will give the angle. Means, again I'm saying, I'm taking the one surface, and I'm taking another point O, which is near to the surface. I'm joining to the boundary of the surface to the point O through straight lines. There will be a cone structure is forming. The opening of this cone structure will give the solid angle. Now, I'm thinking that so many were understood what is the angle and what is the solid angle. Generally, angle is the word used for the some of the bendings, or when the two surface or the two lines are bending, at how much level it is bending, that is gives the angle. For this is a consideration for the only for the two-dimensional figures. Wherever for the three-dimensional figures, it little bit changes. If I'm taking a surface and I'm taking another point O, I'm just joining all the boundary surface to that point, then what will happen? There is an opening will be formed, or sorry, there will be a cone structure will be formed. The cone structure, how much opening is giving, that opening is called the solid angle. And in the solid angle, using these concepts, now we are approaching towards to conceptualize the concept of flux. Then we shall discuss more about the electric flux. First of all, what I'm taking, just I'm taking a two-dimensional figure. See, this is a two-dimensional figure. It is a angle, let's take theta. This is a one arc of length L1. This is another arc of length L2. This length L1 is at a distance of R1, and this length L2 at a distance of R2. The ratio of L1 by R1 and L2 by R2 always is a constant, and this constant is known as the theta. And one thing, this will be only can be possible for the circle. Then if I take this L1 is the completely entirely one circle, then what will happen? This will be 2 pi r by r. Then what will happen? This r by r will be cancelled. This will be 2 pi. This theta is the 2 pi. That means what? When it will be a complete figure, this angle will be gives the 2 pi radian angle will be given. In the same way, I am just using this concept for the 3 dimension, and I am applying for the 3 dimension figure. And let's take here two surface. This is the S1 and this is the S2. And this S1, let's take this is the omega, or you are using the ohm symbol. This S1 at a distance of R1 and this S2 at a distance of R2. And using this concept, I am applying now this S1 by R1 square and S2 by R2 square equal to, this is a constant, and this constant is known as the ohm or omega. Okay, understood? Means here, as like that we are using the length and radius, here also we are using the surface and radius. Why it was using the surface? Because I already told you, in the vectorial form of the area, generally the area which is covered for a surface, for a volume, that area will be taken as the length. And in the same way, it is also considered as a length. For this, S1 by R1 square, S2 by R2 square is the ohm. This is the solid angle, and this solid angle is the ratio of the surface and the square of the radius, or simply the square of the distance from the center to the surface. It is the always a constant. Generally, for this, using this concept, just I am taking one thing. See, here the what we have understood, that angle, the solid angle is equal to the ratio of the area and the square of the distance from center to the surface. In the same way, basing on this concept, just I am trying to draw a small area, a B, that it was naming as the ds, and it creates a small angle d omega. And when we are imaging the other surface, the SC, which surface I am naming as the ds prime, this ds prime, actually this ds prime, the lines which are drawing OA and OC all are perpendicular to the ds prime. Actually, the surface which you are drawing is the length of the, basing on the length of the OA. I am naming this one the R distance. Actually, at this point here, this ds and ds prime are inclined at an angle of theta. Now, this d omega, I can write this d omega is ds prime by r square. Why? Because this angle, the lines which are subtending from point O are perpendicular to the ds prime. And as we know, this ds equal to ds prime cos theta. If you take this entire surface as a length, then you can easily find out this is the ds and ds prime, the relation between ds and ds prime as a ds equal ds prime cos theta. then ds prime equal to ds cos theta, then we can write d omega is equal to ds cos theta by r square. Now we can write as, when it is of length of OA, then the area subtended, the solid angle subtended is equal to ds cos theta by r square. Then using this concept, now we'll get into the flux. Now what is flux? As we all know, the flux is defined as the flux is related to the fluid. The flux is completely related to the any liquid to flow. Whenever any liquid to flow or any liquid is passing or flowing, when an imaginary surface is kept on that one, the rate of flow will decide the flux. Now see, here the KLMN is an imaginary surface. Whenever the liquid is flowing, this is a with velocity v, it is flowing and creating an angle theta with the area vector A, and the projection KLPO is the projection of KLMN. This projection, this KLPO, this projection gives the whenever the water is flowing and entering into the KLMN, it should pass through the KLPO, and then the length LL prime will give the V delta T. What is V delta T here? Let us take, this is a imaginary volume within which the water is flowing. To pass through this volume, it will take the time delta T. And in this imaginary volume, within the imaginary volume, this area, let's take the KLMN is the area of A. Then the area of the KLPO, I can say the area of KLPO is the A cos theta. Why? Because this area, this KLMN is the KLPO is the projection of KLMN with angle of theta degree. That's why the area of the KLPO will be A cos theta whenever the area of the KLMN is the A. Now we can say within the volume, if the how much of water is flowing, that we can the rate of flow, we can determine the rate of flow. Now the area of the KLPO is the A cos theta. Now we are finding the amount of water within the volume is flowing at the speed at which it is flowing is the V. Now we are finding the amount of water or the rate at which it was flowing, that we can find the delta V is the amount of water it was flowing, is we can find the area into length. The area is the A cos theta and length is the LL prime, that we can write as the V delta T. I will say delta V by delta T is the A into V cos theta. Now this delta V is the volume by the amount of water flowing per unit time. Is delta V by delta T will give the flux of the liquid, and this flux is equal to V vector dot A vector, and hence the flux of a liquid is V vector dot A vector. And if you take this special cases for theta is 0 and 90 and 180, you will get the different values and you can find the flux for the liquid. Now we basing on this concept, now we'll enter to the electric flux. What is electric flux? See, as we know, if a electric field, the word electric field is only enters into our mind whenever a positive charge, the force applied on the unit positive charge in a field will give the electric field. This vectorial representation, the other term we can say as the electric flux. Again I am repeating, in an electric field, a force applied on a unit positive charge in that field will give an idea about the electric field. Whenever if you keep this vectorial form, of this field is termed as the electric flux. That means what? Let us take a surface. If I take the surface in a uniform electric field, if I am taking the surface in the uniform electric field, let's take this is the uniform electric field. Uniform electric field implies that every point in the electric field, the strength of the field is equal, same. Here, this entire surface S is divided into so many small surfaces. If I take this is a surface, and this is a surface, and this is a surface, likewise, this is divided into so many small surfaces, and this total surface, this is the ds, and this is the ds, and this is the ds. The entire surfaces are divided into small surfaces, and the dot product of this surface, the dot product of this surface and the electric field give the flux of the electric flux. Means if I'll say E vector is surface integration of E vector dot ds vector. Here the direction of this is in such way. This is it implies the outward, it implies the inward. This implies this is the right angle to the surface. And if I'll say this one, integration E ds E vector dot ds n cap, and I will say this one as the E vector dot n cap ds. This will be E ds cos theta. Sorry, this is the phi. This electric flux, we can say, is the dot product of electric field and surface of the in an uniform electric field. This is called the electric flux. Thank you. And once again, I request you to kindly watch this video. If there is any doubt, please write in the comment box, and please refer your textbook, which are the reference text material which were provided to you or which you have now, and we will meet in the next video. Thank you all of you.